Okay, bossos, I think the hate for Mihara is getting out of control. Now, the hate for the skin is justified, we'll talk about it in a second, but when it comes to her damage, I think so many people are tripping, calling her mid, and saying overall that you are just better off using her off burst, not bursting with her. Guys, shut up, okay? Let's talk about Mihara's damage, let's talk about the current drama, what's going on, why people are complaining, where these complaints are good and justified, absolutely, and let's play they change them, and where they are just capping, absolutely, as usual. Hello there, internet, welcome back to Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict who spent $50 on this dog shit background. And thank you to all my patrons for making this content possible in both YouTube and Coffee. Link in the description to join them. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on. First of all, the skin. Okay, let's start with the skin since that's the easiest part, and we talked about this on the video from yesterday, but let's start with this. The skin clearly is not living up to any sort of expectations in contrast to what Shift Up usually provides. Look at this skin for Siren, right? It's $50, it's still expensive. Let's not talk about price, they are all expensive, but pretty good, looking amazing. Look at this. Nah. I hope they will change this. There is no way they don't change this with how much people are complaining in all communities, global, JP, Korea, etc. So let's play they change this. Not gonna talk about anything else regarding the skin unless they don't change it. Then I will fucking complain and actually refound my purchases yesterday. The other thing about the skin, and this could be like another topic maybe. I spent 50 for her zoomed in face. No way, Shift Up, right? Just a fucking joke. And there are so many comments hating on the game from people who don't even play this game, bro. If you don't play the game, what are you complaining? And the people who are saying it's expensive. It's expensive. It's expensive. Gacha games are a scam. The whole game is a scam. It doesn't matter if it's the skin, the pools, anything, okay? That's the point of these games, to fucking steal your money, alright? Now, that's it about the skin. Let's ignore this topic because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Cosmetics. Let's talk about the important part. Damage on Mihara and why people are calling her mid. So, multiple accounts, multiple tests, multiple investments into both Rappi and Mihara, right? A lot of people are not getting good rolls. They don't have rocks because they use them all on Siren. So the rolls on Mihara are shit and they are not getting good damage. And then they put her versus a 4 elemental, 4 attack, at least 2 lines of max ammo Rappi, and what happens? She looks mid. Of course it's gonna look mid. What were you expecting, fucking retards? Chill. Now, let's go into this a little bit more in depth, okay? If you go into like a similar investment, and it's not even similar, right? Rappi on top, 92 elemental versus 37 on the bottom for Mihara, 31 attack for Mihara, 15 only for Rappi, 145 max ammo, also super important for machine guns with Bastion to deal more damage, versus 40 max ammo on Mihara, right? With that investment, when you put them in neutral content, they are doing pretty similar damage. And this is, again, a lot less ammo on my Mihara, which means she's doing less damage because Bastion plus machine gun plus max ammo means a lot more damage on a 3-minute fight overall. If you were to get the same ammo and more attack, your Mihara will be catching up. I'm not saying she's better than Rappi because I don't think she's better than Rappi. The versatility Rappi has and what she's providing for the team, right? It's way bigger than what Mihara is doing as a single target character. So in that regard, they are similar characters for damage output on single target. And if you go to another account right here, where they have pretty similar investment, you can keep seeing this, 1.5 on both of them. Some people are saying that she should be used as an off burst, but to me as an off burst, she's doing way less damage. I don't have that picture here. I'll try to find it, and if I find it, I will pull it right now on the screen. I don't have it here, but off burst for me, she's doing way less damage. If you have more ammo, as an off burst, she's gonna be performing a little bit better, but still you are losing a lot of damage. Her burst is providing a really good increase in damage, but we still are not sure if her burst is properly working or not. We're waiting to see what Shift Up says. I assume today we'll get a patch. For the skin of for Mihara, there is absolutely no way, right? No way. Now, that's it, right? Because they have, like I was saying, similar investments. As you can see right here, if we go into elemental advantage, I ran a different test to keep testing. 5.6 billion versus 3.5, a big difference on elemental advantage, right? But if we go to neutral on the same team, still getting the extra core damage by Asuka, we're getting 2.5 versus 2.1. And again, the only reason as to why Rappi is doing more is because the max ammo. I know you guys are like, oh, max ammo is not important, bro. Max ammo plus Bastion means you are doing a lot more damage with the machine guns, a lot. So that is the difference as to why she's doing more damage. But if you were to equalize their stats, they are similar characters. They will be doing pretty similar on single target. Now, let's move into the important part for this video, and that is why people are complaining. And by the way, considering we are like 5 minutes into the video, probably a lot of people are not even gonna be making it this far and will just complain. Let's talk about the biggest issue with Mihara right now, debuff immunity. When we talk about the specific bosses, mostly in Divilia, they have this passive right here, Overcharge, enhances itself becoming immune to debuff for a certain period of time. For some reason, sustained damage counts as a debuff, meaning her damage on bosses with immunity is dogshit. We go from 2 billion versus 2.2, equalized damage, to 1.4 versus 500. That is a huge decrease in damage because of this immunity. Now, this is not a Mihara book. This was already in game. The thing is, we never had a proper sustained damage character to test this. Never. This is the first sustained character we actually have. So now we can see that this is awful. But this is an Indivilia problem. This is not a Mihara problem. This is not a book on Mihara. No, this is not a book. This is just why is Indivilia considering or treating DoT damage, burn, poison on other games, right, as a debuff itself. I could understand it, but then you are releasing a 1% character that will get no usage. If this is intended, and they are not changing Indivilia and how she treats DoT damage, it's not worth getting her. Because the only reason to get Mihara, right, it's for raids. You're getting a raid character for single target damage. On campaign, she's not that good because the AoE clear, it's non-existent, right? So we're talking about campaign, you cannot really use her as much as other characters, and you are getting her for single target bossing. But then a lot of bosses, if they decide to put more mechanics like this, the immunity debuff, you cannot use her. So she's losing a lot of user, right? So her usage, her tier list placement, and everything is going to depend on if this is a bug on Indivilia and shift up is just stupid, or this is intended. But like I was saying, this is not the bug on Mihara's part. This is Indivilia and how the immunity to debuffs is treated towards DoT damage. Now, if we think about it from the other perspective, this is working as intended. Because if you are doing Nihilister, and you bring any cleanser, like Cocoa or whoever it is, who is the other cleanser? Aid and Cocoa? Whoever it is, Ultra or Nihilister, DoT damage from those bosses, fire and poison, can be cleansed. So technically, this is working as intended, which is a problem. It's a problem. Because it means for specific bosses, Mihara is useless. And the worst part is that this is the daily boss. This is the boss where you would be using her every single day. If you're doing interception and you need to be farming, you would be using her here. But you cannot, because any other fire DPS is gonna be doing better than Mihara. Mike Drake Treasure is doing better because I don't need to worry about her damage, right? It's working. So that's what I meant at the beginning when I was saying that there are things that are justified, in this case the debuff immunity, and things that are not justified, which is her normal damage. Her normal damage, when we're talking about not counting this stupid mechanic, is close to Rapid Red Hood. She's a fantastic DPS. People calling her mid are tripping. In fact, a lot of people calling her mid are the same people who were praising Breedy, a character that requires a lot more setup, specific units, and can only be used on some bosses. And it's like, how are you praising Breedy but saying Mihara is mid? What are we talking about here? The same people who were praising Asuka are the ones who are talking shit about Mihara. While Asuka is in a similar situation, a fantastic DPS for single target bosses, but you are not gonna be using her as much for a campaign unless you really went all in, right? Unless you were a simp and you go like for the core 7 like some people did. In that case, of course, you can use it on campaign. But it's the same situation. And people are calling her mid, and it's like, bro, what are we talking about here? Her damage is the same. Literally, she is catching up to Rapid Red Hood just in terms of single target damage. How are we gonna be calling her mid? If this is a mid character nowadays, honestly, I would be happy. If this is what people are considering mid, bro, I would be so happy if we are not getting any more Moris, more mill treasures, more base and clays. Right? I don't even know what that she is base. More clays and base. Absolutely, I'll take these mid units any day of the week. That said, if you haven't pulled yet, wait. Wait until we see what Shift Up is planning on doing with this debuff immunity. If they change it, it's worth getting one copy. If they don't change it, honestly, as good as she is, you could be skipping her and just focus on getting Siren instead, which by the way, I got MLB with singles. single by single, we got the MLB finally. That's it, that's gonna be for this video. Just wanted to go a little bit into the drama with the skin and with her damage, because I think it's kind of stupid, some of the things people are complaining, and some are completely justified, like the skin being a scam, because of the background on the preview, and of course the Indivilia damage immunity, or whatever it's called, the immunity to some debuffs, because even though it works the same way for Ultra and for Nihilister, when we're talking about using the character, it makes no sense, or at least it makes no sense from the perspective of a 1% banner. That's fucking expensive, shift up. That's it, that's gonna be for this video. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment down below. How are you feeling right now about Mihara and Siren? Also, like I said yesterday, Mihara had almost no chance of shining coming after Siren. That was impossible to achieve. That's it, that's gonna be for this one. Beautiful people, I love you all. We're gonna be live later, like every single day. Feel free to drop by with the description down below. Good luck with your pool dinner. I'll see you on the next one.